Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. And wow, this is a great, well, a couple of these cards are great cards for Tuesday drops. I'm pretty impressed by this drop in all honesty, at least on the surface. Invincible Rudy Gay at shooting guard should be one of the very best shooting guards in the game. We'll see how souped he really is in terms of the Invincibles, sig-wise, compared to some of the other Invincibles, but these cards, I mean, I don't know why it says they're live in the tweet, because they're not coming out till tomorrow. But Rudy Gay is an awesome card, and Artis Gilmore is an awesome card. And because this is Tuesday content, Rudy Gay will be more affordable than the other Invincibles just off of that. Now, he probably won't be quite as souped as the other Invincibles, but we already know his jumper is going to be great because he already has a great shot. And so he already has a great shot. He's already got Kawhi behind the back. They give this card a good escape, good dribble style. He's a great card, even if he doesn't have Francis size up. His fade's already pro, so we know it's going to be a decent fade no matter what. Maybe they give him pro 2. That'd be nice. I would hope they will. We'll see. That being said, Rudy Gay, really, really interesting card, and also likely to be one of the most attainable of the Invincibles, while also being one of the better Invincible shooting guards. He's 6'8", and he looks like he's probably 6'10". So that's a really nice card to be adding to the lineup, potentially, or to have the opportunity to potentially add if you're one of those people who has more MT to spend on a shooting guard upgrade. Definitely a card that could be a lot of fun and that I'm excited about the possibility of. Another card I'm very excited about the possibility of, though, who will absolutely be attainable for a large portion of the community, is Dark Matter Artis Gilmore. That is a card that I have been asking for a long time. So W2K for finally dropping a good Artis Gilmore card. He only had one card this year, which was a pink diamond in season 1, and it was not a good card. Like, that pink diamond was 7'2", yes, but he had like 65 speed and 30 something 3-ball. Yeah, 65 speed, 34 3-ball. It just wasn't a good enough card overall. But in 2K24, he had a Galaxy Opal that came out, I forget exactly when, it's season 6, I guess. So prior to this time of year, actually, it was the end of April last year that card came out, and that card was a monster. I mean, he was really, really good. 86 speed, only a 66 3-ball, yes, but remember, this was a Galaxy Opal, not a Dark Matter, and his jumper is great. And this year it's great too. It was really smooth on his pink diamond. So he's gonna have a really nice jumper. He's 7'2", 7'5" wingspan. Not only is he 7'2" with a 7'5" wingspan, but he's got an afro, and he's got a very big afro. He's gonna look 7'3", 7'4" on the court. Very bulky, very big player build, and this card will likely join Mark Eaton, Dikembe Mutombo, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as your best Dark Matter bigs who provide the size and versatility to be able to be elite level bigs and compete against the Wilts and the Shaqs and the KPs and the Wimbies and even the Yaos and guys like that of the world. And so having a card like Artis Gilmore, that's another one of those guys who's going to be 150 to 200,000 MT, maybe even a little bit, maybe a little more than that at most, but realistically could easily wind up being, I would expect he'll be less than 200K by the end of this week. That is the type of card we need more of. You know what I mean? Because now, I mean, let's just look at it at this point with free Tim Duncan from level, or not free, I guess, but let's say we have Pro Pass Tim Duncan from level 40 in season 6. And then you have Dikembe Mutombo, Artis Gilmore, and Mark Eaton. You could run, let's say, Dikembe and Eaton as your starters, and I don't know how good this Artis card is going to be. So I think there's definitely a chance that Artis winds up being better than Eaton. But either way, we'll say Dikembe and Eaton, and then Tim and Artis could be your bigs. You know what I mean? And you have 3 attainable Dark Matter bigs. And I mean, Dikembe's expensive, I know, but he's amazing. He's worth his price. And then Artis and Eaton are a little more affordable. And then Tim Duncan's a free beast. Like, that's a group of 4 cards that can compete with pretty much any bigs in the game. You can go up against Invincible Wimby, into 100 overall Yao, 100 overall Wilt, and Invincible Shaq. And sure, those cards are better than the cards you have access to with that foursome that I named, but it's still a really good group of cards to try to counter them size-wise and skill set-wise, and all those guys are going to be able to shoot. An Artis, even if he has a 70-something 3-ball, is going to be a knockdown shooter because his jumper is money. Mitch Richmond, jumper will be really good. The SIGs are going to be what depends on whether or not he's actually a good card or not. He's 6'5" at point guard, so he's tall enough to standing dunk, but I'm not sure he's tall enough to truly be extremely impactful on the defensive end of the court. And so realistically, I think there's a really good chance that with this Mitch Richmond card, he's one of the more meh 100 overalls. There's a lot of those at point guard at this point. Like, I feel like Mitch Richmond, Anthony Edwards, obviously Steph Curry, but he doesn't really count. Let me think. What other 100 overall point guards? Well, I guess Invincible, Gary Payton, kind of. I'm sure there's a couple others that I'm missing at this point. My brain's like not thinking. Oh, Ray Allen from a couple weeks ago. There's a lot of those types of point guards. I think this Mitch Richmond might be another one of those where he's towards the mid to bottom tier of 100 overalls. But that's okay when you're getting an Invincible this elite and a Dark Matter this elite. Now, Mark Price, I'll be totally honest, that card doesn't matter at all. He's a non-factor. He'll be a buyout and he won't be very good. He's a 6'1", 6'2" point guard who's, I mean, I'm sure he obviously couldn't dunk in real life, but I'm sure this card will have like an 80 driving dunk or something like that because it's the end of the game. But realistically, he's too small to be elite. He could have perfect sigs, the best jumper in the game, and he's still not an elite level card just because of what he is realistically with his lack of size. And that's okay. You know what I mean? I don't think that's the most important thing in the world. I don't mind there being bad cards in a drop when you have really good cards. And I love the balance here of having an elite level attainable card. It's one thing they did really well last week with Rick Barry, who was an awesome attainable free, well, not free, but very reasonably priced high level shooting guard. Artis Gilmore, very similar card here. He will be reasonably priced and he will be extremely elite at his position. So that is what I want to see, is consistent stuff like this. And I'll give 2K credit, man. This is a W, obviously. One reminder I do want to give y'all as well is next week is the final week. I believe next week we're going to be getting the NBA Finals cards, I should say, on Tuesday. So if you haven't finished your playoff spotlights yet, those will be coming next Tuesday. So you have a week to finish and make sure you're caught up on your playoff challenges. Something that I would absolutely recommend getting done if you are a no money spent or a lower money spent player. Trying to use more attainable cards and stuff like that. I definitely would recommend getting those done this week as well, because next week we're going to be getting those. So we don't have a ridiculous amount of time before we get those cards. So keep that in mind as well. But this is absolutely a pretty interesting drop tomorrow. Even Mitch Richmond has the potential to be good. If they give Richmond Garland dribble style and solid sigs, his jumper's nice. He's going to be one of the better 100 overall point guards. There's a world in which that card is better than the Lonzos, Bookers, Lucas of the world at the 100 overall tier, and that he's on the level of an SGA or a Michael Jordan. Like, if they soup Mitch Richmond, he could wind up being one of the better 100 overall point guards, and likely he will also be pretty affordable by 100 overall standards. And so I do think there's a world in which that card also winds up being a relatively attainable, legitimately good point guard. So hopefully that is the case. Either way, I have high expectations for Rudy Gay. I have high expectations for Dark Matter, Artis Gilmore as well. And I'm looking forward to another very solid Tuesday content drop here in NBA 2K25, my team. So with that being said, that is all I really have to say here in this video specifically, but I hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. Excuse me. I will be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.